So with the first two regular season games in the books for the Utah Jazz, they're now 2-0 and the first seed in the Western Conference. And all I gotta say is, Danny Ainge has to be pissed, because I'm pretty sure he'd be okay with this team winning 2 games the entire season, not just 2 games in just the first 2 games in the season and being a number 1 seed at any point. But right now, this Utah Jazz team is full of a lot of young players and players that's been counted against multiple times that feel like they have something to prove. And after going out there and basically going on the neck of 2 contending teams and winning pretty convincingly in the closing hours of those games, the Utah Jazz team let the world know that they still have enough talent to maybe not be a true playoff roster, but they can definitely fight for a play-in spot, and let the world know that they're still not somebody you can count against on any given night. So right now with the Victor Wembanyama sweepstakes, if Danny Ainge keeps this roster, how far can they genuinely go to ruin those odds? And if they truly want to tank, what would they have to do to actually get to where they want? Let's talk about it. So right now, we're looking at this Utah Jazz roster. They're a pretty solid mix of scorers, defenders, playmakers, and overall, they look like a team that can definitely fight for a play-in spot, but not be much higher than that. But that in here is the problem. You don't even want to be anywhere near a 10th seed to even be considered a play-in roster. So, how do they fix this problem? First things first, Mike Conley and Jordan Clarkson need to be out of here. Jordan Clarkson is too good of a scorer off the bench or in the starting lineup, and too good of a shooter right now that he would be not only be a great contributor for a contending team, but on a roster like this, he has way too many nights where he can just have the ball and take as many shots as he wants. And I'm not gonna lie, more nights than not, Jordan Clarkson is talented enough to really outgun a lot of teams. Lauri Markkanen looks like finally being on a team where he's the number 1 scoring option and has the well, the green light to do whatever the hell he wants, has been putting on a literal show. And Colin Sexton, after basically putting up really good numbers in Cleveland but never really being given the keys, looks like he's ready to prove a lot of people wrong. And for this team to have this many young guys that is ready to, prove the world wrong, they need to make some trades to get rid of the people that don't really see their vision in getting with Victor Wembanyama right now. Because let's be real, while the Utah Jazz here are ready to tank, this team is full of too many players that need their next contract, that need the next meal, that needs to stay in the NBA, and they're not going to sit here and just be bad because their teams ask them to, or lose games because they know their team is tanking, and ruin their chance of getting their next contract. So, get the older guys like Mike Conley and Jordan Clarkson that can keep this team pretty steady and, keep them, I guess, under control late in games that helps them win these tight fourth quarter wins out of here right the hell now. You already have 15 plus draft picks, so you can get even more, or you can use these players to be even better in other drafts and package your picks just in case you don't have a high enough pick to get higher in this draft. And while I do understand Adam Silver has made it very, very clear that he doesn't want to see teams tanking, and the league's already been looking to, take precaution against teams that may look like they're purposely tanking for Victor Wembanyama, trading these guys is more than enough for this team to only win about 15 games in the season. And with the draft lottery odds already changed, so that I think it's the lowest 3 teams have the same odds of getting the number 1 pick. All you need to do is being one of those 3 teams, not even the lowest. And I think 15 wins would probably get you there. But let's say this team is very stubborn and doesn't want to trade some of these older guys that can keep this team steady in the closing parts of games. They're very much talented enough to win 30 to 33 games, and while that won't be enough to make the playoffs in a tight Western Conference, it is enough to not be at the bottom of it, and now you're ruining your chance of getting a top pick to the point where you can't even contend for somebody like Scoot Henderson, and now you're already looking to pick 5th in this draft. And while it's a very talented draft, we know who the 2 players at the top that everybody is drooling to get over. So right now, in my personal opinion, moving Jordan Clarkson, moving Mike Conley needs to be the first move this team makes to get them further down in these standings. These 2 players are very much too good. I'm not saying Colin Sexton and Lauri Markkanen just aren't as good, but a team that's led by Colin Sexton and Lauri Markkanen aren't winning you more than 20 games. So at least you know that you're at that point and you have a good core around somebody like Victor Wembanyama that's pretty young, that can help him grow and still contend, and you can fill out the veteran roster with older players that can definitely help him grow and learn the league as time goes on. But definitely the 2 people on this roster that needs to go right now is Jordan Clarkson and Mike Conley. Obviously, having a first-year head coach that needs to prove himself forever he gets fired from here and needs a new job or something of that nature, he's going to play the players on this roster that are going to get this team to the best possible record. It doesn't matter what the front office says, because even if they do fire him, he still needs a new contract somewhere. And right now, he won't be playing guys like Nickeil Alexander-Walker or Taylor Horton-Tucker more than his preferred 20 minutes to 15 minutes a game, because they're just not that good enough. And for this team to lose consistently, they need to give those players minutes. So not only can they up their trade value if you need to move up in this draft, but it's the best freaking way to actually make sure this roster is as bad as possible. But what do I know? I'm just a guy in there talking about basketball. But genuinely, let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Do you think if they keep this overall continuity of this roster, that they'll be able to win at least 30 games and ruin their chances to get Victor Wembanyama? Or do you think this is just a quick, 2-game, jump from two teams that still are working out the kinks, and as the season goes on, they just lose way more consistently? Or do you think that this team genuinely does need to move on from guys like Jordan Clarkson, Malik Beasley, and Mike Conley for them to lose more consistently and be to where they need to get Victor Wembanyama or Scoot Henderson? I'd love to hear you guys think in the comments down below, especially on something like tanking, because I know a lot of people have different views of what tanking is and if it's effective or not. That being said, this is about B. That is my time, and I'm out.